Hey everybody, Tokusa here and welcome back to another My Hero Ultra Impact video. So by the time you're seeing this, I'm already on vacation. I'm already out enjoying, doing whatever the heck I'm doing. But I figured it was time for me to do a top 10 best units in My Hero Ultra Impact strictly for PvP. This is all just based on my personal preference and usage, just what I have used or dealt with, because there are some characters that are on this tier list that I don't even have, but I do think are still worthy of being on the list. So keep in mind that there are just like situations where I don't have units maxed out or UR plus, so I don't have some of their abilities that really amplify them to the next stage. And yeah, there are certain characters that I have maxed out that I can just not negate, but do a lot better against other units that I'm pretty sure other people would probably have higher on a tier list. So it's just all kind of self-preference. So take it with a grain of salt. Let me know down in the comments below what you think or who you think is better or should be placed in whatever tier. But yeah, I just wanted to do that. I'm honestly kind of against tier lists, but I've just had a lot of questions recently, just like, what do you think meta characters are, or best teams out there, like what, is the meta in general. So I just kind of wanted to give you my thoughts on the best characters in this disruption meta, essentially. And yeah, just kind of have some fun with it. So anyways, I'm going to hop right in, and at the end, I kind of have like a tier maker I kind of created and like put them in certain tiers, what I think certain characters are placed in general. And yeah, just enjoy it. Hopefully you have some fun with it. Hopefully I don't make a bunch of you mad. Listen, I'm not completely biased. Tokoyami is not on this list, as much as that pained me. And it did pain me to not put him on the list. But there may be some biasness here and there, but listen, like I said, take it with a grain of salt. Anyways, to number 10. So for number 10, I actually have Fantasy Jiro, a unit I do not even have. I just think this unit is all around amazing. I just think it is a very good healing, supportive unit, essentially, right? You have the shortened action skill cooldown time, you have the ability to hide, give plus ultra gauge up, hide certain opponents, increase max HP. She was one of the first units to do that, which is very annoying. And of course, there's a certain unit out there, which I'm sure you are well aware is probably number one when you see it by the end of this tier list, that just really amplifies her, and not, I mean, the whole freaking game, but just kind of like brings this character back to relevancy. It's not that she like really fell off. Well, I guess she kind of fell off just in terms of there's like newer units coming out and whatnot. But I do think that she has been kind of revived, and every time I fight her, like I go in not too threatened, and she always gives me such a hard time, right? She's so annoying. She can confuse you too, right? She's able to hide other characters when she is not hiding, so you're forced to target her, right? I just think overall she is very, very good. And one of her stronger traits too is she has the one-turn status ailment cancellation. I just think that right now in this meta she does serve pretty damn well, and you can really build around her very, very well. And she's just a nuisance. She's very good. She's very good. It's one of the units I do wish I had, like generally, but I do think Fantasy Jiro is worthy of a top 10. Also, before I go to 9, I do have some honorable mentions. I'll cover them at the end, you'll see them. But, yeah, for right now, if you're wondering where other characters are, they might see them in the honorable mentions, so keep that in mind. Anyways, on to number 9. So, number 9. I was a little bit controversial with this one. This one I could have possibly slid out of the top 10. I honestly think this one could have slid up a little bit higher, right? Froppy, Osweet, however you want to say her name, because I butchered all the pronunciations in this game. I just think she is just a powerhouse and is still honestly holding on pretty damn well, all things considered, right? And I know there's a lot of units out there that have dodge or, can just disrupt her, right? Can kind of shut her down. There's tons of AoEs out there, and AoE stun, block buffs, get rid of her piercing shot. But I still think to this day she can hold her own with the amount of power she can just dish out there, right? Of course, you're well aware I don't really need to go through her kit at all, but like hiding, piercing shot on everything, and AoE on one of her action skills that can just obliterate you. If she's over 50% HP, she is just a powerhouse. And now with all these newer units that have come out with like Celebrations Deku, Jiro even, that I just mentioned, Celebrations Momo, like you're able to keep her alive more and more with all the healing and protecting. I just think that she is just phenomenal. If this unit had Bullseye, she would probably be number 3 or top 2, honestly. Like, no joke, she is that good of a unit still to this day. She doesn't have any saying UR pluses, but I don't really need to go through this character. You've probably seen this character UR plus and dealt with her before, ones that have like really invested into her, and she just does work. She is a nightmare. She's one of the few characters that can like counter some of my best teams, but she's built absolutely perfectly. And I just think that she is deserving of just getting into the top 10. I was back and forth with this unit. I had her 7th one time. I had her outside the top 10. But yeah, I just think that she is insane. I do think she is phenomenal, and I do think she is worthy, in my tier list, to be in the top 10. But like I said, controversial. If you don't agree, let me know down below. I want to read all the comments when I'm on vacation or when I'm back or whenever. But yeah, I do think this is a unit worthy of top 10. So look at that. 2 fantasy characters from the old gen still holding on. Anyways, on to number 8. Number 8 is Class 1B Monoma. Now, this is a character I did not expect to be as annoying as he is. And this is a unit that could honestly, potentially have been higher on my tier list if I dealt with him more. Like a couple of UR pluses of this unit would have probably drove me insane. And unfortunately, he just wasn't that popular of a character, I guess, to summon for, because I don't see him too much on the defensive end. But from my personal usage of him and fighting him, he's just an absolute nuisance, right? One of the biggest things that characters can have right now, especially when you're not just like a main DPS unit, is shorten characters' cooldown time of all allies by 1. Already makes him valuable. Just absurd, insanely good. But that, for sure, I know, and I'm sure many of you do know, is not where his biggest traits come from, right? It is his debuffing ridiculousness, aggro. Like, you have to hit this unit, and he can just really shut down the team, essentially, right? It is just horrible to deal with, right? We go through the kit very quickly here. Cancel 2 temporary buffs with that. His 1 AoE, clever thinking, is just terrible to deal with, right? It's an AoE, can block opponents' buffs, cancels temporary buffs. Y'all are aware, Celebrations Bakugo, Red Aizawa, those units like that, right? Red Bakugo, units that can just dish that out already. It's horrible. It's terrible to deal with. And this is an AoE. And then along with that, he's giving you debuffs of, like, what is it? Power, skill impact, speed down too, right? It's such a nuisance. And then with his other action skills, he can confuse you, draw aggro. And yeah, when he's not aggravating, he's hiding. So it's just, he's very annoying to fight, right? And then he's increasing the speed of all his, I think it's all his allies. When characters hide, increase the speed of increased defense of all allies. Yeah, so he's like giving defense and speed, right? And yeah, he's horrible to fight. Very annoying. I definitely think he's worthy of the spot. And honestly, I could see him being higher, because this unit has definitely given me trouble before. I just think in this disruption meta, which I do think it is, he fits in perfectly with so many teams. And just having the ability to lower action skill cooldown times for the whole team by 1. Also, his Pulse Ultra gets Bullseye, which I have seen counter me before, and I hate it. But yeah, I do think this unit is very good. He's got very high speed, very good EHP. Not very much damage, but that's not his role. I just think this unit is very annoying to deal with. So I do think he's definitely worthy of being in the position he is. And honestly, like I said, if I fought him more, he could be higher up in this list for sure. But for now, I have him at 8, I believe. So let's move on to number 7. All right, so, I mean, we're probably already in the controversial state, but this is another one where I think she honestly could be a lot higher. And to be completely honest, I was thinking of putting her lower. And this is just another one of those instances where I haven't fought her enough. But I have seen her in UR Plus a few times. Literally probably 2, maybe 3 max. And she has obliterated me. So I think she's worthy of where she is. I do think she's another one that could slide up above some of the other units. I do think there are some definitive ones up there. But yeah, Celebrates, or New Year's Oshako. Not much to say. She is just kind of like a disruption nuisance to your plus ultra gauge. And for lots of units, like Monoma you just saw there, like Celebrations Bakugo, I think Momo as well, like units that have plus ultra or lower action skill cooldown time by 1 on plus ultra, this unit's here to shut you down. This unit's here to get rid of that crap, right? So if you don't have your memories built, your auto skills built properly with plus ultra gauge gain, certain characters working better together, and you deal with a unit like this, she can destroy you. She can shut you down in an instant. Along with her, look at all the red numbers, all them debuffs, right? It is crazy. I know there's defense and speed. There's probably power. Yeah, there's power too. She can bind with the plus ultra. I've rarely seen it, but I mean, her biggest nuisance is definitely the plus ultra gauge down. Personally, I have seen the agile come into play here and there, but yeah, where she can really be the problematic character that she is just the plus ultra gauge down. That literally has ruined my runs, especially even with my grinding teams. Right, she just doesn't allow some characters to plus ultra. Like my Lady Nagant has been completely obliterated by this unit, and just because of what she can do. Her disruption's too powerful. And but at the same time, pretty necessary because some of these characters up there are just crazy, just very overpowered. And I do think that this character is worthy of where she is. And yeah, I just think that she holds on. She holds her own very well. I'm glad I don't have to fight her 24/7 because it would be terrible. But I do think she is worthy of being up here. Honestly, I could see Monoma being a bit better than her. Like I said, I just wish I fought more Monoma or had more of my stars invested into Monoma because I did fall through that, invest into other characters before him. So I could see this unit being 8, but I could also see people arguing this unit probably being like top 5. But right now, 7 is kind of where I have her. That's still worthy. Listen, everybody in this top 10 is damn very viable. Very viable. I promise you can use any of them. And like I said, I don't like tier lists too much because it creates, controversy. It's like, oh, well, now I don't want to use this unit because they're worse than this. I am no pro. My positioning is probably crap with these tier lists, so keep that in mind when I'm going through all this again. I know I'm a broken record saying that again and again, but just enjoy the units you use. I use Tokuyama. I probably have him 20th on this bloody tier list if I went that far. And I adore him, and I use him every day. But anyways, that's enough of that little rant. Number 7, on to number 6. All right, so number 6, I think 6, 5, and 4 you can, switch, honestly, to whoever your personal preference. This is just kind of another... Oh, actually, there could be some biases in here, and I'll get there. But I do think they can be interchanged for sure. I actually think this unit could be as high as 4. And yeah, I just think Red Aizawa is just absolutely insane. He just is the definition of disruption. I feel like he's Monoma on steroids, right? This is a unit that if you do not KO him before he goes into his hiding stage, you're just going to be fighting him forever. It could be a 200-turn fight, it feels like sometimes. And this is one of the units that definitely gives me some of the most trouble just trying to showcase units. Just even win in general, right? Because he just removes buffs for days. It's ridiculous. And as you glance through his kit, it's not his plus ultras and stuff that are insane. I mean, they are crazy, don't get me wrong. Plus ultra 4 temporary buffs and combined 70% chance. It's his AoE, and every time you hit him, he's removing buffs, man. It's crazy, right? His 1 AoE, what is it, Eraser? Yeah. Everybody gets hit with 2 temporary buffs removal, decreases defense and skill impact, and then when this unit is above, I think it's, 30% health? Yeah, when above 30% health, he's got aggro. He gets dodge on all of his action skills, or is it just the 2 of them? Plus ultra in the first action skill. 3 dodge and then 2 dodge. It's ridiculous, right? Then you're hitting a ghost essentially, right? And every time you land something, he's getting rid of a temporary buff. It's just absurd. And then when he crits and does a bunch more attacks, he gets rid of buffs too. He's just a true definition of disruption. He's very good. He's never going to do too crazy of damage. As you can see, his power's not very low or very high, but his speed's high, his HP's high, and just now with survivability too, with celebrations. Momo beside this unit, he's just that much more of a problem to deal with. It's just, I hate fighting this unit, and I'm sure many of you do too. And honestly, the more I'm going through his kit again, and reading over, just thinking of all the horrible nightmares I've had fighting this unit, I could see him actually being higher than the next 2. But this unit is just amazing. Amazing to have on your defensive team, and it's just not a fun fight. Every time you go into a secret battle, or you just don't want to fight, or you don't plan on fighting this unit, and you see him, it's like here we go again, it's like one of them moments, and it's just a problem to deal with. And then if you have him UR+, he's got some unique EX auto skills that just amplify his temporary buff removal. If I fought more UR pluses of him, he'd probably be higher on my tier list, to be honest with you, but I just think he's phenomenal. He does exactly what his Aizawa does. He gets rid of your abilities to fight. He sort of represents the character very well, so I like that a lot about him. Somewhat lower cooldowns, but with certain characters out there, obviously lower in action skill cooldown times, you can kind of just make everything flow very well. So I think 6 is deserving, but I do think this unit could honestly be higher. He's just that good. So yeah, number 6, and now we're on to number 5. So, number 5, Mr. Midoriya. So this is one of those characters where I think is more controversial, and this could be my biasness picking in here, but honestly, this unit is just phenomenal at almost everything, right? This doesn't really have too much damage, and I guess he doesn't really provide speed. But the status ailments, increasing your team's power each and every turn, essentially, for a certain amount of turns. I already said it probably, but the nullify status ailments. He's got Last Stand. He's got phenomenal healing built into his kit, right? And he's just the ultimate supportive unit. He's my favorite unit to use at showcases, where he makes everybody look that much better, and just with certain assets around him, certain celebration characters, or even just other general pool character units that I've already stated. I think that he's just phenomenal. He does exactly, you know, what I would want out of a character, especially when I'm just trying to do showcases, or when I'm just trying to grind up and do some crazy damage or something. This boy just comes in play. He's great for survivability. He has great cooldown times. He is one of my most used units. If not, he's probably within my top 3 most used units ever. And I adore him. I adore him forever. I mean, it's Madori. It's Deku, right? One of the main characters, one of my favorite characters. So I'd already gave him some bonus points, but I actually do think that this unit is phenomenal. I really do. His AoE can get lower crit rate down, right? I think he can, like, reduce damage for the team when affected by nullified status limits, so he's got some good damage reduction for the team. Yeah, I have to go through his kit. It's been a little bit. Reduces damage to the character. Yeah, he's got great survivability and absurd support. And I'm sure if you fought in this character and you don't KO anybody in the main lineup after like 4 or 5 turns, you dealing with maximum damage coming from whoever it is. Like, I do like Momo, Deku, and Nejire, and my Nejire, if she's not taken out, or any of them are taken out by like turn 6, I'm raining fire. Like, you are being obliterated. I've used that word like 20 times, but I don't care. I just love this unit. Could I see Red Aizawa being better than him? For sure, but I have seen instances where this unit can be very, very good. He's also powering you up your other units, so we can kind of counteract. And, you know, even though you're removing all the buffs, my team's also getting stronger and stronger. So I'm getting better and better at KOing like a Red Aizawa or a Monoma, so I just don't have to deal with them. And yeah, I just think that he is phenomenal. One of my favorite characters, one of my favorite releases in this game, to be completely honest with you. And I think he's going to age like fine wine. He's just a supportive healing unit. Can't go wrong with it. Good release of Midoriya. Top 5, maybe not to some, but to me, my boy, he does damn well. So 5th is Midoriya. Let's move on to the top 4. Number 4 probably being the most controversial. My most hated unit of all time. But at the same time, I use this unit 24/7. So this is one of those like flip coin units, right? But his one action skill is all it takes for him to win you the game. It literally wins you the game. I can't think of another character off the top of my head, and I'm not sure if there is one. But a basic attack that, or no, an action skill, right? Not a plus ultra. That is an AoE that can shut you down for 2 whole turns. 2 whole entire turns. Mr. freaking Compress. Right? He's so annoying to fight. It is literally a coin flip. If he lands the bind on you, you just lose sometimes. Now, I know it's like a 50-50, and that's why it can be controversial, because he is a little bit older now. He definitely doesn't hold on as well, especially if you don't land the bind at all, he can be very vulnerable. But there are still just too many times in the game where he lands the bind and he can shut me down completely. Using my best team, using any sort of team out there. And that's just because he's got a few main things. One being the of course, the AoE bind, which says 30%, but I know that's flipped. I know that they messed it up. That bind is 70% or higher because it hits me every damn time. Unless I'm using Compress, then it's about 30, they're right. But when I fight Compresses, this boy hits the bind on me every freaking time. It is so annoying. He lowers the speed of all heroes. 99% of this game is heroes. You just fight heroes all the time. You're already getting hit with a speed buff or debuff. He is fast. He has got 914 speed, which is higher than he needed. And he lowers the action skill cooldown time for all allies by 1. A very good disruptive supporting unit. And it looks like he doesn't give a lot of support in like the positive ways, like raising your power and whatnot, but he's decreasing defense out of your team, skill impact, crit rate. You've seen it from all the newer units like Red Aizawa and whatnot, or New Year's or Choco. She is the definition of debuffing. But honestly, it really does come to that AoE bind. I do think it should have been nerfed a long time ago. This unit is aging probably better than everybody. And like I said, controversial. You don't land that bind, he's honestly not that big of a threat to do. And he could go, honestly, probably as low as like freaking 8, 9, 10. But for how much I still get hit by it, and how much I still have to deal with bind to this day, because Compress is on many, many teams, he's in my opinion, top 4. He's just that good of a unit. He just does so much. What other little things am I forgetting he does? Plus Ultra Gauge gain up to everybody, defense to the whole team, right? I know he's got damage reduction on the ability where he can hide. With that damage reduction for the whole team. And the one unit gets to hide and heal up. Very, very powerful. Just a very good unit. I don't really need to go more into Compress. I just think he is just the ultimate disruption unit. The beginning of the disruption meta. And, yeah, honestly, I could put this unit as high as 2. I hate this unit. I hate this unit. But at the same time, I use him all the time. So I'm just, you know, I'm on both teams here. But I do think Mr. Compress is phenomenal. The best General Pool banner unit. He's on the same tier as, like, Aizawa to me. But, yeah. Compress still to this day just drives me insane, and probably will for the entirety of this life's game span, because I hate him. So, anyways, up to the big 3. You could probably guess who they are just by who I haven't announced. And yeah, now it's just all about positioning. So, on to number 3. I had a real hard time with 3 and 2. 3 and 2, I was also one of those ones where 6, 5, and 4 I was flipping. 3 and 2, I was thinking so hard about it, and I think I'm still not sure. I feel like you could flip them, but right now I have Celebration Soul Choco at 3. Ridiculous damage, crazy stun ability, right? Speed for the entire team. She's fast as heck. Plus Ultra Gauge rate up. She's just phenomenal. A phenomenal unit. I remember when she came out with Deku, and I was so sad because I didn't think Deku was going to be good at all compared to Ochako. Most Ochakos are just phenomenal. But Deku actually aged like fine wine. I was very happy about it, but so is this unit. This unit is crazy. I don't really need to go into Uru Choco that much, right? Double AoEs. If that first action skill, like the home run common, was like a 2-turn stun, I would just delete the game. I'm so happy it is just a 1-turn stun. But something that's also very underrated with this unit is that she removes buffs with her plus ultra and that first AoE attack, right? So she's just really, really good like that. She's got some sort of healing. I know she can heal. I haven't run through her kit too often. I probably should have done like a thorough investigation going through all these characters' kits. So I sounded like I was super prepared, but I'm just keeping it real with y'all. Yeah, so she restores HP of all allies every 3 crit hits. I mean, it's pretty easy to get that. So this unit is like somebody you focus on main DPS right now. And she's just amazing. Honestly, I see the more I go through her kit again, great cooldown times too. It's speed to UA high students, but I mean, the best characters in this game are UA high. Defense to the team too. Wow, I actually forgot about that. That makes sense why I can't get through her sometimes. She's just amazing. She has just got all kinds of good things going for her, and she's very deserving of number 3. But yeah, number 2 and 3, you could probably swap. I could see it. I could see this unit probably being number 2. It's tough, man. It's tough. I just think 2's had a bigger impact on other units, where I think he's more deserving to being number 2. But, you know, to each their own. I could be wrong. You might even think she's number 5 or 10. Or, like I said, let me know down below what you think. Anyways, number 2, you could probably guess who it is. Number 2 is Mr. Bakugo. Katsuki Bakugo, the most debuffing, ridiculous menace out there. And in my personal opinion, this is the best character in the game overall, including PvE, like Climax Battle, if they ever drop really crazy hard advanced ultra fights, VE Tower even. Like, this unit just has everything, right? It just does so much to the game. And it's honestly just his ridiculous debuffs. And he's got permanent bullseye. And that's really what changed the meta. Because Fantasy Ida and like units that had dodge, very annoying. And the reason, there's someone on here that I don't have in my top 10, who I have in the honorable mentions. I guess I'll kind of spoil it now. In one of my favorite units is Nejire. And I just feel like this unit just negates him. I just feel like this unit shuts down so many. Lady Nagant was another one, but at least she can hide. So outside the AoE, she can kind of protect herself as long as he doesn't remove the buffs. But guess what? This unit removes freaking buffs. And he just has so much going for him, man. He's so good. If that AoE removed temporary buffs, I would be in shambles. I would be in pain. I would almost put him on the same tier as number 1. I just think that this unit just has so much going for him. It's not, I don't know if it's permanent bullseye. I think there might be ways to get around it. I honestly can't remember. Like I said, wasn't super prepared going to this game, or this video, but I'm pretty sure it's permanent bullseye. And he's just so damn good, man. Like, the amount of debuffs he hits you with turn 1. Power down, speed down, defense down on the AoE, and then on his other action skill, Upper Blast, which hits like 6 times. Cancels 2 temporary buffs, decreases defense by 30%, and blocks all opponents' buffs. And if you had the luck or the the income to max out this unit, He's got a unique EX auto skill that can make him hit harder than any character in this game. It's like every time he lands a crit, or 3 crits, it's like 15% skill impact damage for 3 turns. For some reason, they did that. And if you're wondering how people were doing so good in Club Fest, it's because they had this unit, UR+, and they just steamrolled. This unit's AoE was doing 999 to everybody, and that hits multiple times. The uppercut was doing maximum damage every time. And yeah, if you don't really get, like, some sort of disruption on this unit on turn 1, which is why I still think Compress is rated as high as he is, you can bind this unit, you can stun this unit, you can kind of slow him down a little bit. But if you don't get that, or if you don't have a bunch of crit resistance on your team, or just ways to kind of negate him, he builds up way too fast, and he just becomes an absolute nuisance. Like, he's just a troublemaker, man. He's so good. And on top of that, he's got action skill cooldown time down by 1 for his whole team, which works really good because his 1 action skill is cooldown by 5. And of course, he's class 1A too, so he works with the best characters in this game. There's not much more to say about this unit. I just think he is phenomenal. I do think he is personally number 2. I have a very hard time fighting him. Like I said, I don't have the best units in the game. I don't have a lot of them maxed out. Like, Fantasy Aizawa. I wish I had him. I wish I had him. That was the unit I summoned for. And that's a unit that's in another spoiler for my honorable mentions. But that's just, once again, just a unit I haven't used and sadly haven't fought much of. But when I have fought on him, he's horrible to fight too. But he could be a pretty solid counter to this unit. But just one of those units I don't have. So, like I said from the beginning, a lot of this is not going to be perfect just because I don't have exact usage out of everybody at UR+. But in my personal opinion, I think this is number 2. I just think he does too much, and if he gets the ball rolling, which is very, very easy for this unit to do, good luck. You are dealing with so much blasting power. It's Bakugo. Works out perfectly. Anyways, to number 1, I'm sure it is to no shock. It is the best unit. She is literally on every one of my showcases. She changed PvP for what it is. And yeah, she's in a realm of her own. She's absurd. I don't even need to explain who it is, but I will. Number 1. I don't think this is a shock. Celebrations Momo Yaoyorozu is just the definition of PvP changed forever. Yeah, she's just... I remember when she came out, and I was like, this unit doesn't even attack, except for her plus ultra. Like, how can she possibly be that good? Boy, was I wrong. She's the best character to ever release in this game, and she makes... If you don't have her for PvP, you love PvP in this game, I highly, highly recommend getting her. She will change how everything goes for, honestly, ever. I can't really see her being power crept. She provides way too much to the team, right? She can cancel status ailments, so she can help teammates that are hurt. That's just one of 500 million traits, and that's not even the most important. Max HP on everything. So this is where, like, hitting max damage didn't matter anymore. You had to do more than maximum 99999 just to, like, hurt some units sometimes, right? You start fighting some of these UR+ teams with this unit on the team, and you sometimes don't even get them to the red, and then they just heal like crazy. The ridiculous amount of last stands that she hands out to the entire team, like, some teams just feel invincible. And she's really what brings so many other characters back to meta relevancy. Like, Blue Endeavor was a glass cannon. Hits like an absolute truck. I loved him, but he died in like 2 seconds. This unit helped her. Sue makes that unit so much better. She's hiding, I know that. She got crazy damage. What was her problem? She gets under half health. She struggles. Now you increase her max HP. Now she's got last stands. You can heal her back up really quickly. Momo just fixes a lot of those problems. A lot of squishy units got better. Defensive units got better. Supportive units got better. The entire meta got better. She was a problem. But she's just on another realm of her own. I honestly do think that she is better than everybody, especially in PvP. And I know she's not dishing out the damage. She's not doing that kind of, like, the fancy, you know, the numbers on the screen that looks like she's helping you win the fight, but trust me, she is there to make PvP fights work. If you saw my last PvP video, or not my last PvP video, the last, you're seeing this in the future, I don't know what PvP video, but I did one of the full celebrations team, and then in my final few fights, I used the 3 boys and took Momo off, and it was horrible. It was a struggle. It was difficult. This unit just keeps everything flowing so well, and I just think she is absolutely necessary for climbing PvP. She's going to make your life easier no matter what. If you're somebody that's new, you got newer characters, and you're just having a hard time climbing, get this unit. She will help you tremendously. At least build like a solid like ground, and just help you climb up. Like, it'll only be positive going up. She just has so much going for her. What other things? I know she gives speed to the team. She probably has some sort of power down. Oh, no power down. The crit resistance, right? So she's getting rid of crit too. Sword's action still cooldown time by 1 for the team. I mean, with max HP up, along with that too. The cooldowns can be a little bit of a problem, but you run her beside Celebrations Bakugo, or you just run like Strong Battle Formation, a free-to-play USJ memory beside her, and this unit's just off to the races. She's just insane. I don't think it's arguable in my personal opinion. I think this character has changed PvP more than anything. She's literally made every character better. Every unit in this game better, at least off the top of my head. And yeah, she's changed PvP forever. I think she's #1 definitively, and I think she's gonna be forever there. Well, that's not true, but for the longest time, I see her just reigning as #1. She is her, for real. Anyways, I kind of made a little tier list where I'm just kind of have like 3 lines, and I'll kind of just go over that quickly, and then I'll probably wrap up this video. So this is kind of how I have them in tiers. So here's my honorable mentions. I'm going to go through quickly. I don't have Blue Endeavor there. I probably should have Blue Endeavor there now that I'm kind of looking at it. But Christmas Jiro, I think it's just Fantasy Jiro and Celebrations Deku, but slightly worse. A little bit better healing and good survivability. And I have fought an UR plus with her, and she can be a nuisance to deal with. I do think she is very, very good. Lady Nagant, that's maybe a little bit of biasness, but she's got Hide, Bullseye, and Piercing Shot. She can deal with Red Aizawas. She can deal with a lot of the units up here. And I just think she's my favorite unit to climb with. She's just got so much offensive firepower, having the ability to hide. My favorite team in the entire game is Momo, Lady Nagant, and Seiji. So Seiji is just meat lumping everybody, so he's got some good disruption, while she just kind of like rains havoc on everyone. I think she is worthy of being there. Nejire, I only think she's an honorable mention because of Bakugo now, and Bakugos are literally in every other fight. Of course, she's amazing. All her AoEs, crit resistance is good. Healing, she's got some nice health regen. And, yeah, she had really good abilities, like having the ability to dodge everything, especially with Dulce Summertime being one of my favorite memories still. But Mr. Bakugo kind of just took her, not out of relevancy. She's still very good. I use her to this day to climb sometimes. But yeah, I just think that character alone kind of took her out of the top 10 in my personal opinion. But still very good. And then Fantasy Aizawa. Like I said, a unit that could probably be in the top 10. I could probably slide him above Jiro, maybe Sue, possibly, if I just had more play with him. But I don't even have the character, so that's kind of just how I have him right now. Of course, very good. Can dodge when he's getting hit with Piercing Shot, can completely shut you down, bind you, literally lock your skills, which can change the tides of a fight. I can see this unit being way higher in the list, but just without personal usage, it's hard for me to say. And I know there's some other favorites out there. Of course, the Goat Tokuyama is not quite on the list. It does hurt my soul. Ida was, once again, he would have been up in the top 10, probably, arguably, in 10th, if Bakugo didn't exist. He's not here. Celebrations Todoroki. This one hurt a little bit. I did not put him there because I have fought him on the defensive end a few times. And I kind of don't have too many troubles with him. I do well using him, but I have a great supporting cast around him, right? So it's kind of more the other ones kind of carrying him, I essentially think. And it's just units that do what he does a bit better. So, I mean, maybe my opinions will change going down the road, but unfortunately I don't have Todoroki there. Who else could have been there? I don't know, I'd have to go through the list again, but that's kind of just my honorable mentions list. And then in the course of the tiers, you could probably mix and match a few of them. I do think Momo having her own tier, like tier her, I do believe that. I don't think that's arguable. I do think she's just better than everybody else. She makes your team that much more valuable, so I highly recommend going for her. Bakugo, I almost separated the tiers here again. And I was gonna put Bakugo and Ochako and on their own tier, because I do think so. I think that they're your powerhouses that you want. If you want to grind up and do well, have one of them on your team, and you're in a pretty good spot. But I do think that the other ones on that same SS tier can keep up. Once again, I compress Aizawa and Celebrations Deku. You can kind of mix and match or put them wherever you want. But I kind of like where they are right now. And the New Heroes Ochako and Monoma, I think that they can kind of go up too. I do think the two fantasy characters are... I think they're well placed. Jiro's interesting. Jiro could probably slide up in SS too. It's just one of those units I don't have, but I have fought on her a ton, especially when she first came out. She was like in every match. So I have a lot more better of or a better idea of how she is compared to like Blue Eyes as well, right? But so I'm pretty happy with how this all is. I don't think there's too much I would change. But anyways, that's gonna be it for this video. This is probably a long freaking video. My throat hurts. I'm tired. But let me know your thoughts and opinions. Let me know how you would play certain units. Like I said, this is just kind of like my personal experiences. And I'm definitely not no top player. I don't even get Legends rank half the time, so my opinion could be completely invalidated here. So let me know down below what you think is the best character, or who you think they are. But this is kind of how I look at the tier list. As you can see, there's lots of disruption and supportive healing units up there. And then there is 2 offensive units, or 3 offensive units. How dare I forget about Fantasy Zoo there. I just think that's just kind of the meta right now. Disruption, healing, nuisance. It's just it's a pretty interesting meta. Not as heavy on speed as it once was. So this is kind of how I have it. So let me know down below who you think should be in this list. Do you have anybody else in your top 10? Do you think that this positioning is completely wrong? Let me know down below. I definitely want to hear it. I like hearing other people's opinions and people's feedbacks. I didn't get anybody's help on making this tier list. I kind of wanted to put my own personal opinion on how everybody is. So this is kind of what I went with. And like I said, this could be some biasness in here. I love Deku. I've had nothing but nightmare fights against Compress. He could be lower on this tier list, honestly. Monoma, haven't fought him enough at UR plus or just higher stats to really like get a good feel for him. Same with Heroes of Chaco. Jiro I don't even have. Keep all that in mind when you are going through this video. If you made it to the end, it's probably like an hour freaking video. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Like I said, let me know down below what you think of this team or this tier list. And yeah, thank y'all for tuning in, staying to the end. Like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. And yeah, I'm excited to get roasted in the comments probably. Anyways, until the next one, take care, and as always, Tokusou.